This problem of loneliness is something that we all experience most of the time. But the thing is that we are unwilling to investigate as to what is this loneliness. Can we even define it? Most of us cannot define what this loneliness is. From what I've seen, it is a sort of empty feeling, a void which creates irritation and frustration. And the thing is that we are always in a hurry to fill that void with something. So, when we feel lonely, when we feel bored, we are always in a hurry to find something to do. Either we start watching, OTT channels, or we start uh, listening to music, or we start reading a book or watching a television, or we go onto our social media and check how many likes we got on that post. But the thing is that that is all a diversion. That is all a cover up. What you are doing essentially is you are covering up the void. You cannot fill it with anything known. So, all these small escapes, like trying to do something about loneliness, fighting that urge to not be lonely, that itself creates suffering. However, aloneness is completely different quality. When we see the loneliness for what it is, then that whole frustration disappears. Because loneliness comes from fragmented mind or me. And the me is always looking for inward security. So you may be filled with people in your house and yet be lonely at the same time. Because the me will constantly reinforce the thoughts that nobody understands me, nobody listens to me, nobody is willing to view things from my perspective. Therefore, loneliness becomes suffering. Because loneliness is the thinking mind in operation. And thinking mind is always concerned with upholding this fake image or me. The me wants to assert its own viewpoints, its own ideas. And when there are no listeners for those ideas, when people are not willing to discuss those ideas, you feel lonely. Say you may be living in your family and you may be interested in spirituality or non duality, whatever. But other members of the house may not feel the same way. They may say that, you should have a clear cut path, a well defined path in your life, while you want to enjoy in the moment. You want to explore life in the moment. Therefore, you feel lonely. But you see, it is not important for others to agree with you. So the loneliness is mostly concerned with its own views, own ideas, own thoughts, own feelings, own perceptions. And the very attempt, very urge to resist this feeling of discomfort, that only brings more suffering. People don't understand me, nobody agrees with me. Deep down, all those same dialogues are running all the time. But when there is complete acceptance by the mind that there is nothing you can do about it, then something beautiful happens. Then the loneliness gets transformed into aloneness. And aloneness is bliss. When I say alone, that means that you are not with anything. You are completely alone. You're not even with your thoughts. You're completely, absolutely alone. And that is where you discover the joy of pure being. Now, aloneness is not a state that will be continuous in your experience. The thoughts still will emerge even in aloneness. But there will be no urgency or no compulsion to get involved in those thoughts. So the frustration will not come up. And exactly the opposite happens in loneliness. In loneliness, a chain of thinking gets established, which perpetuates the fictitious image or me. And all thoughts that are being produced are an extension of this me only. Why things are not according to my ideas, according to my beliefs. Deep down, that belief is there. And then what happens is that this brings up frustration. We get upset, we get annoyed. We want to complain, we want to feel pity about ourselves. So I'm not being insensitive here. If that is happening, of course, it is seen that that is happening. And to have compassion for oneself is not a bad thing. It is okay. In fact, it is good to have compassion for yourself. But understand the source of loneliness. Understand the source of disturbance or irritation or frustration. Where is it arising in your body? Can you locate a place where it arises? There is no location. There is no place where these feelings, thoughts, sensation arise. They are just happening in consciousness. And nobody has any control over what thought arises in the moment. So the peace is experienced as interval between two episodes of pain. But pain is not transformed into suffering in horizontal time. Accepting what is rather than what should or should not be eliminates the problem of loneliness because there is no me. Me cannot see what is. Me will always see through a conditioned perspective. It will see things either how they should be or how they should not be. So it will always come up with idea. It will say that, okay, I'm feeling bored, I'm feeling lonely, let me watch a movie, let me meditate. Sometimes meditation, people use meditation to bypass feelings. But all you're doing is you're just covering up the void. The void has to be seen for what it is and know the source of the void. Once you know the source of the void disappears. So, Jiddu Krishnamurti would say that fragmented mind Fragmented mind creates suffering because fragmented mind is conditioned mind. I am this, I am that. This is my paradigm, this is the way things should be, and this is the way things should not be. This is the way world should be, and this is the way world should not be. So if your mind creates your reality. Mind can create different realities at different times in your life. When you are a child, mind creates a totally different reality than when you are a teenager. When you are an adult, you experience a completely different reality than when you were a teenager. And in your old age, things and circumstances change, and that again creates a new reality. So the reality that you see, the objective reality, it is constantly changing. But the one that is witnessing this entire changing objective reality, that alone is the truth. And that can only be seen in aloneness, not in loneliness. There is lot of advice on the internet what to do with loneliness. Take that advice. Take whatever help you feel you should in the moment. I'm not saying don't take help. Don't take care of yourself. If something is too troubling, if an emotion is too overpowering and you cannot handle it by yourself, then do take help, whatever help you can. But ultimately, by avoidance, you will not be able to solve this. You will, till you see it as a problem, you will not find a solution. See it for what it is. Aloneness is perfect peace. It is a neutral peace. So, aloneness has a very different quality to it. And aloneness is transformative, even for the mind. The mind which realizes that whatever it is projecting is just its own creation. You keep binge watching violent programs and see how your mind changes. If you keep watching violence, if you keep watching news all the time, you will think that the world is a bad place, and then you will feel lonely. Your mind creates your reality. I don't watch news. For the past, I think, 4 or 5 years, I have not seen any news. Whatever is important information, it comes to me through various sources. And I don't live in online space. That is why I don't have any social media accounts. Other than YouTube and my own website, I don't have anything online, I believe. And yes, there was a time when I had accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and all those platforms. And then I lived in constant comparison with other people. At that time, I was working as a software developer in my company, and I would see how people are, how you know, how blissfully, how much people are enjoying, and I'm here sitting writing code. And these questions about loneliness, I get a lot of emails, especially during this time when it's close to New Year's and Christmas. Do you ever think about it? Why do we feel so lonely when it's festive time? I'm not saying all do, but yes, some of us feel a lot lonely when it's festive time because we see other people celebrating, other people enjoying themselves on social media. And even when we talk to them, they always tell the good stuff, how they bought this, they did that, they went shopping, they spent time with kids. They project the completely perfect life. And then you begin comparing yourself with them. I'm unmarried, I'm unsettled. All the other people are, they have a perfect family, they have a perfect life. What you are not aware of is that There is lots going on behind that which they are not telling you. And this whole social media machinery is actually projecting a false image. It is sensing into your vulnerabilities, and it is exploiting it. It's exploiting your vulnerabilities, your insecurities. It is making your mind more fragmented. Now, I'm not saying get off social media. That's up to you. I'm not telling you here what to do or what not to do, because it's very difficult for me to tell you what to do, because I don't live with you. I don't know how your conditioning is. What have you been through in the past? Therefore, I can't tell you. In fact, nobody can tell you. Not even your therapist, your psychologist can tell you, give you a solution to this. Unless and until you see loneliness for what it is. I guess that's it for today. Thank you. Wish you peace.